Okay. So how many of you guys have ever been in a situation where you're talking to someone or you're just at dinner with someone and they can't stop looking at their cell phone, regardless of whether they're texting or not? I'm guilty of doing it too. I'm the person texting sometimes, to be honest. But, so what I'm going to try to persuade you to is to get away from all that and sometimes just unplug yourself and like live in the moment that you're in instead of always depending on all the technology that we surround our lives with. It's basically crippling our ability to socialize with people because everything is digital now. I'm sure all of us at least have a cell phone that do a lot more than just make a phone call. And so today I'm going to explain to you how technology is very, very useful and helpful in doing many of our everyday tasks. But I'm also going to explain how it displaces our ability to interact, like I said, with just people in everyday situations, and how it has created such a dependency that we can't even do some basic things because we're so used to using electronic devices. We all use it in everything, even our cell phones to do basic math. I'll whip out my calculator, or I'll look at the calendar to see Noon's birthday, like simple stuff like that. It contributes to, it's easier to communicate with people. You can reach your family members or friends in one step, just giving them a call on the cell phone. Even looking on your Facebook to people you haven't talked to in a long time, just makes it a lot easier to communicate. With music, it has increased the quality. You can have a full sound system in your car, in your house. Like, it's just improved it. Also with the ability to get music, you can get multiple songs within the click of your mouse. With computers, information completely easy. I used the internet to research for my speech, and all you have to do is type a question in Google, and you have not only one answer, but pages and pages of answers. Like, that was not there 20 years ago. With the health industry, it has improved the quality of health benefits you get. Doctors use it for everything, not even for storing your files. It's a lot easier for them to keep track of everything. So those are just some things why it's good, and when it's used properly. So now let's see how it is affecting our ability to communicate. Dr. Garth Small from UCLA Medical Center says that although our generation is very technologically savvy, it is affecting the ability to develop feelings of empathy and responsibility because we're so reliable on it. With social networking, I'm sure all of us are guilty of it, just saying like, oh, I'll just Facebook them later, or I'll just text them, or if you need to talk to somebody, like, instead of making that phone call and having that verbal interaction with them, you're just giving them a few words over a text. It takes away from the human interaction that allows us to make that emotional connection with people. With cell phones also, it gets as ridiculous as texting someone that's right next to you. I've done it. I've seen people do it. It happens all the time. And with awkward moments, like, we need awkward moments sometimes. It helps you develop as a person, but you can avoid those awkward moments so easily by sending a text instead of going up to that person or calling them, like we said. And even with relationships, like if a boyfriend and girlfriend kind of thing, it happens. They get dumped over a text, and that's the last you hear of them, let's say. It's so easy within words, you can completely end a relationship, just a couple words over a digital message. It also, that takes away the responsibility of your actions. Like, it counts that you apologize, or it counts that you're making an effort to say happy birthday over a text, but anyone can do it. So easy. Like, Thanksgiving. All those, like, happy Thanksgiving, blah, 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 text. I literally got one that said forward, happy Thanksgiving. And it was one of my really good friends. I was like, thank you for making me a number in your cell phone. Like, you can't even put my name right after it. Okay, so now that we've looked at how impersonal texting and communications over the internet can become, let's see how dependent we've made it. We've become so dependent on cell phones that they've made it state law that we cannot use our cell phones in the car. We can't even go on a car ride without using our cell phone. 5 minutes. I do it all the time. I still just put the cell phone in my lap and speakerphone. According to Cyberty.com, the average adolescent is using technology 9 hours a day. Not saying they're sitting in front of the computer 9 hours a day, but even if you're listening to the radio, you're texting, iPod, anything electronic, an average of 9 hours a day. And especially with how advancing our technology is getting with all these new cell phones, like the iPhone, there's an app for everything. You guys know that. I don't even have an iPhone. My sister does, and it can measure your blood alcohol content. It can see the... I was like, oh, I wonder how big the weather is going to be the other day. She literally, before I even could ask her to use her phone, was like, oh, it's going to be 42 degrees and it snows, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's cool, but I was just going to wait till I got home and look it up. And how multiple texts on, like, I know not everyone's addicted to Facebook, but it's just constantly updating your status on what you're doing. Like, I've had conversations with people when I haven't even realized I know what they're doing from their Facebook, and you don't even realize that until later. I'm like, I totally know what they're going to do later today, or I know who this person's with, not me personally, but anyone. You're just constantly updating the world on what you're doing, instead of being with that person, talking to that person. It's just, like I said, taking away from basic human interaction. And so, today I'm trying to persuade you that you don't always need to be plugged into everything, because it does definitely have detrimental effects on your ability to just... We're meant to experience people, we're meant to be with people, we're meant to talk with people. You don't always need to be connected, like, with everyone. So, it's okay to unplug yourself once in a while.
It would have been funny if you read your notes and yourself on the bus.
All right, Brandon, what do you think?
She connected to the class really good in the beginning. She had a strong thesis and her preview was set up good. She talked to the class really well. She had good eye contact and she knew what she was talking about. She transitioned. I think she transitioned in the beginning, but I didn't catch the next one. And then she cited her sources really well. Pretty good.
Okay. I would agree with you about almost everything that you said up until right at the very end, because I think you needed to provide a few more source citations. I like the one scholar that you quoted that talked about, you know, some of the problems that people might have losing empathy. And this is a field of research that's relatively new, but it's rich, and there are people who are, even if they haven't done a lot of research on it, have speculated about it, who are authorities on social relations and that kind of thing. So I think you get a little bit more information like that into the speech. Your examples, you've got a lot of hypotheticals that I think work well at illustrating points, but they don't always pull us in quite as well as they could. A few more details. The one that I appreciated the most is the one you might have heard me laughing at it, you know, getting your forwarded Thanksgiving message. You can't even create your own Thanksgiving message. You got to forward the Thanksgiving message that somebody else sent to you. And I thought that was a pretty good illustration. And you needed a few more of those kinds of personal touches there to, I think, fill it in content-wise. But structurally, it was very solid. I like the idea of the speech. I think it's creative, and I thought it was delivered really well. The only things that are problematic about the delivery are primarily your feet. You're swinging your legs, you're crossing your legs awkwardly. You know, if we're watching you from the waist up, I think you're doing a really good job. But to the rest of you, it just looks a little uncomfortable up there. But I thought you did a nice job talking to the audience, and that's really where we ought to be at this point in the semester. All right, thank you.